Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships, and today we are here to show off the tier 10 French cruiser, the Henri IV, or as maybe not a very well liked name, the HIV. Yes, finally had the tier 10 and I really do like this ship. I've had actually really good games with her. We are playing on Sea of Fortune. We have a Hakaym, Conqueror, Yamato, Iowa, Alabama, Moggy, Henri IV, Rune, Kutuzov, Shimakaze, Habadosh, and a Benson. On the enemy team, there is a Midway, 2 Yamatos, Missouri, Bismarck, Moggy, Minotaur, Charles Martel, Shimakaze, Grosavoy, Yugamo, and a Ognavoy. And I am joined with 2 of my clanmates and even my clan leader, Pizza. I think I've shown him off on a live stream once. Don't get to see him all too often, but he is finally with us. I believe this was like played at 3 o'clock in the morning, so it is a very early game. I am also joined with No Game, No Life, one of our newer clanmates. He's obviously in the tier 10 British battleship, the Conqueror. So let's actually talk about Henri IV. It's well, if anything, it's very similar to the Charles Martel and to the St. Louis in a lot of ways. Turret setup is very similar. Torpedoes are exact same. Has very weak armor. Very similar, once again, to all the tier 4, all the French cruisers that you've come to know and love. The range is fairly good, 19.1 kilometers. Now, the main difference between the Henri IV and the St. Louis is the caliber on the guns. The Henri IV runs 240 millimeter guns versus the 203. So she does have a much bigger caliber, which is now, I believe, the biggest caliber guns in the game. We do have AP loaded. There is the Minotaur and shots off, and dispersion is pretty decent, honestly. Let's see, can we get a Citadel? There we go. Took off 10,000 points of health there. Very nice. And obviously we have attracted the attention of a Yamato. I think it might be a wise idea to take really big steps in the other direction. Now, the other main benefit of the Henri IV is the fact of her speed. She's actually, I believe, the quickest cruiser in the game, with obviously the engine boost. She can get over 40 knots. Definitely a little bit faster than the St. Louis. I believe the Henri IV, I believe I'm even running the speed flag on her. Without the engine boost, it's around 36 knots, so pretty good speed. Definitely like the speed. Is very beneficial. HE is very fantastic, very hard hitting. Doesn't have the benefit of the German HE now or the British battleship HE, but still fairly hard hitting. Fire chance is fairly good. And if anything, especially in the battles I've played with the Henri IV, you're going to see arsonist and wither quite a bit to get a fire on that Bismarck. Very nice. And the enemy team is actually doing a really good job. They have pushed into sea. They have taken control of that. They are kind of starting to push into the A and B cap. Unfortunately, we have not gained any caps at this time and being. And oh, just look at this. And I'm trying to not take a torpedo. The French cruisers don't really like torpedoes, but I think fortunately for me, the torpedoes are going to die. And let's just look at this. 3 ships are aiming at us. I believe we're probably one of the few that are being detected at the time being. And look at that, Yamato's incoming. Ouch. And yes, Yamato penetrates right through us and gets a Citadel. Of course, why not? So we're gonna try to get a little bit closer in and hopefully avoid any potential return fire from that Yamato. So Grosavoy, very low on health. Hopefully we should take him out. Have HE now fully loaded. And I will have to say, with the AP, not like the St. Louis or the Charles Martel, it doesn't feel like you have to lead quite as much just to get that AP to land where you want it to. So that is actually a really good thing. So I'm slowing up because I am being detected by planes, and there is a Yamato that is probably just waiting for us to pop out. So we're going to take our sweet time on pushing out. Also, I probably should give high props to this Kutuzov right here, the one that's starting to push in. I will talk more about why after we get to the victory screen, but this Kutuzov, very good player. High recommendation to him. He did a fantastic job. So now I'm gonna go ahead, try to push out, and oh crap. Run right into the Yamato. And the St. Louis is not a particularly small ship. He is pushing us quite easily, but do have shots off on the Minotaur, and fortunately for us, the Kutuzov does drop down a smoke screen, and we do get a fire on that Minotaur. So with that smoke screen, we're actually able to stay undetected. That Yamato is pulling quite far away. Don't exactly know why he's pulling all the way back, but then again, he doesn't have a lot of support over on the eastern side. But for me, it's almost better if I could just get out, because as you can see, the enemy team is pushing quite heavily on the western front, and it would be far superior if I could actually get back over there and try to assist, because we do have our friend Pizza, and I will say Pizza is our best destroyer player. If you ever see him in battle and he's in a destroyer, you should be very, very afraid, because he's actually a really good destroyer captain. But I'm actually going to pull away and try to assist my friendlies over on the western front. So let's see, who can we fire at? And that's really nice thing about the Henri IV is she has good range, even though you could extend the range just a little bit more with the additional module. But honestly, 19.1 kilometers is pretty decent. Her detection's not the best, 12.7. That's almost the same as some battleships, so you're not the stealthiest. But then again, once again, you're not going to be sneaking out, pushing into caps like some cruisers are able to. So more than likely, you're going to be sitting a little bit further back. Shots off on that Bismarck, get a fire, and now this Missouri, well, he's gonna love us in just a moment. I really do like the Henri IV. Honestly, it has started becoming one of my more favorite cruisers in the game, and we got Death by Baguette, so I guess we got that. Now, one little thing about, I guess, the French cruisers I should mention is the fact that they're not really a team player type of ship, due to the fact that there's no way they can really assist, especially against destroyers or British cruisers. There's no way you can detect anything. It has good AA. I will praise it on that. It has actually really good AA, and I recommend, especially if you are division up, to kind of stick around your battleships, because for the most part the AA can shoot down tier 10 planes fairly quickly and fairly easily, especially if you get the captain skills for it. So unfortunately for this battle, I actually don't see a lot of planes, which is unfortunate, but well, we actually have another ship that's actually doing a really good job against those planes. Now the Charles Martel pops out, and yes, I am going to snake that kill. So that is actually our very first kill of the game, and we have that Bismarck burning quite nicely. Let's see, shots off on the Amagi. Let's see if we can get a fire. Now going back to the St. Louis. The St. Louis, I would say it's a selfish ship. It's very similar to the Zao in a lot of ways. It's a long-range sniper, just spewing HE. It just, like the Zao, it doesn't have a lot in the way of assisting modules or consumables that it can use to assist your team. And obviously, we just earned our second kill from that enemy Bismarck, and we have 2 fires on this Amagi. Let's see if we can get a third. And obviously one good thing to keep in mind whenever you're spewing HE like this, look at that dispersion. Oh my god, that dispersion is beautiful. Spread out your fires. You don't always want to hit the same place every single time. You want to spread out that fires, and as you can see, this Amagi now has 3 fires, and it is a perma-fire. And let's see if we can get a 4th. That would be nice. And we got a fire on the Missouri as well. It looks like the Amagi managed to knock out at least 2 of them. So that means he'll be susceptible to some additional fires. Now, we have actually pulled away quite far, and I'm actually going to try to turn in. And this is actually very, very dangerous because turning in, one, obviously brings you closer to the enemy fleet. Also shows off your very vulnerable broadside. And whenever you're playing a French cruiser, you want to be the one pulling away, kind of how I was playing previously, where I was pulling away, and there we have just earned Wither, doing I think 60 some thousand points of damage with fires, something like that. I always forget which one it is, but another fire on that Missouri, and just constant harassing. This HE spam is pretty much what the Henri IV is good at. Not saying that the AP is bad, but just this constant HE spam, it's really nice. Now, the guns do have a tendency to have issue to turn whenever you're making these hard turns like I am right now. So do keep that in mind. When you need to pull away, your guns are going to have a little bit more of a time to actually lock on target. Looks like this Yamato is going to beach himself, and that's going to leave him very, very vulnerable to anyone that wants to focus on him. Alabama is pushing quite heavily in. Looks like we got a fire. This Yamato has used his dam comm, so any fires that we do get on him is going to stick. Let's see if we can get any additional fires. But honestly, just getting those fires is so nice for the Henri IV. Once again, it's very similar to the Zhao in a lot of ways, and there we go. We've earned our third kill of the game due to fires, and now we're gonna switch up and focus on this other Yamato. The enemy team is actually having quite a difficult time, and this is due to the fact that being over at the A cap is very hard to push out, and that's why I never ever recommend to go into A on this map, because it's very difficult to push out. You can't really support any of your teammates, so don't recommend pushing into A, especially at the very beginning of the battle. So shots off on that Yamato. Unfortunately, we haven't got a fire yet. Look at that Mogi. Look at that. So low in health. That should have been our kill. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. And Shimakaze is around somewhere. It looks like Pizza is going to be looking for him. The friendly Yamato takes out the Amagi. Really should have been our kill, but oh well. Let's see. Now we can open up on this Missouri. Let's see if we can get additional fires. Oh, there we go. Another fire. Yes, this Missouri is going to hate me. I've been setting him on fire multiple times throughout this battle, and damage-wise, we're doing quite well. We're sitting at over 170, almost 180k damage at this point, and this is kind of what I've been experiencing whenever I play the Henri IV, getting those 100+ K damage games. So it's been fairly nice, and it looks like one ship is looking at us. I think it might be the Shima. I don't actually quite know. It might be the Yamato as well. And looks like he does use his dam comm, and now he's set a fire again. So that is going to be a perma-fire. And I'm hoping to at least get another fire on him. That would be nice. And we have just earned high caliber, which I believe if that Shimakaze is so low in health, honestly, the Pizza should be able to take him out with one health point. That's all that Shima has. And it looks like Pizza does take out the Shima. So that is obviously one less destroyer we have to worry about. I believe all that's left on the enemy team is an Ognovoy. The Hakuryu on the enemy team is currently being, or sorry, the Midway is currently being focused down by our friendly Hakuryu. So he should go down. There we go. Yes, no longer we're going to have any planes in the sky. And hopefully we can deal a little bit more damage because, wow, we're still actually getting fire damage on that Missouri. Look at this. Look at this. 436 points of health left on this Missouri. Are you kidding me? I want this guy dead. This would be kill number 4. Come on. Gotta reload. There we go. Just earned Arsonist for our trouble, and that is kill number 4. And opening up on this Yamato, all that's left on the enemy team is a Ognovoy, a Minnow, and this Yamato. And it looks like the Ognovoy has appeared right before us. And I'm actually going to try to pull away, or better yet, I'm actually going to turn in case he does drop torpedoes. Ognovoy does unfortunately take out our friendly battleship, the Conqueror, friendly teammate. And it looks like the Ognovoy just took a torpedo. Can we get kill number 5? That would be awesome. That would be a Kraken. But obviously we are having issues with a Minnow, but we have just earned Kraken Unleashed, and all that's left on the enemy team is a Yamato and Minotaur. Unfortunately for us, the planes are currently spawning us, and I do have to be careful because the Minnow does have torpedoes, and I really don't want to deal with those, especially if he decides to fire them all in a single line. But once again, the planes are currently spotting us, which is unfortunate. Now the armor, I guess I should actually talk about the armor as we're pushing in towards this Minotaur. The armor is good. You have 25 millimeters at the bow. The only thing is being focused down, especially when you show broadside, you go down fairly quickly, and you do have to be extremely careful. But unfortunately for me, I am not going to get this Minotaur. We have ran out of time due to the fact of points. And right here should just be the end. But overall, not a bad game. So our team earned a victory. We brought home 498,931 silver, 4,077 experience. And we earned Arsonist and Wither and Kraken Unleashed and High Caliber. So overall, pretty good game. 216,329 damage. Fairly good. Fairly good. I believe this is actually now my record for my Henri IV. So overall, not a bad game. 154 shell hits, 5 plane shot down, 5 ships destroyed, 15 fires, 1 citadel, which is unfortunate, but at least we got a citadel, 2 defended base flags, and 1 assisted base capture. Top of the team was actually the Kutuzov. Take a look at the amount of planes this Kutuzov shot down. 70 planes. In a tier 10 battle, he shot down 70 planes, which is downright crazy, and that is tier 10 planes that he shot down. So props to you. We earned second on the team with a base XP of 2,588. Damage wise, we did 86,000 against the Missouri, around 38,000 against the Bismarck, around 12,000 against that Yamato, around 6,000 against that Charles Martel, and around 2,000 against the Ognovoy. So most of our damage came from the Missouri. HE shells did around 95k, and AP did around 17k. But fires, look at that. Look at how much damage fires did. 102,899 points of damage. Ooh, that's pretty good. So overall, we are going to quickly jump into the port, and then we are going to look at her in all her glory. See you guys there. Alright everyone, welcome back to the port, and I have to say, I really do like the Henri IV. It's actually become one of my more favorite ships. It is a very good ship, and as you can see, I have completed all the cruiser collection, and I have all the tier 10, so yay! It's actually the only one since British battleships came out, but finally have all the cruisers. And out of all of them, besides obviously the Minotaur, Henry's really kind of taken up there. It's definitely become one of my more favorites. But let's actually take a look at the stats, and we'll compare the stats compared to the other cruisers as well. So starting off, survivability 53,300. Kind of in the mid range, actually, kind of more in the upper ranges compared to the Hindenburg, which has 51,900. The Mossfa obviously has 65,000. The Moyne has around 50,000. Zhao has 40,000, and the Minotaur has around 43,000. So the Henri has the second highest amount of health in the game. Her armor is a bit finicky. As you did see there, you can be Citadel, especially from a Yamato, even though you're bow on. The real issue is the fact that your deck armor is only 30 millimeters. So compare that to, say, the Mossfa, which has 50 millimeters of deck armor. So it's more likely to get citadeled via the deck, especially when shields are falling from the sky, than, say, the Mossfa is capable of. So yeah, really not a ship that's designed to really bow tank, say, compared to the Mossfa. But another major factor is her citadel. Her citadel, as you can see, sits quite high and only has around 45 millimeters of armor. The Mossfa definitely has a lot more, and everyone knows that the Mossfa is fairly thin. There is a small section in the Mossfa where it's 40 millimeters. The Hindenburg, yes, has small, but it also has turtleback armor, which does protect it from short range citadels. The Henri does have a small layer, but you can see it does not go that far down. Now, the benefit of the Henri is that she does have, let's actually see if I can show this off. She does have spaced armor. So the spaced armor is actually very beneficial. At around 37 degrees, can actually ricochet Yamato shells, or even Zhao. Better yet, Zhao shells, as shown in the hakaymgaming video. So you do have that potential of actually ricocheting shells, essentially due to the fact that there are multiple checks and balances, not checks and balances, but multiple checks for that AP shell to whether or not it will actually penetrate or ricochet. So you do have that space armor. It can actually save your life. Sometimes you can get away with not being citadeled. Have had that happen multiple times, but just be aware that you still can be citadeled. But torpedo protection is pretty decent. It's kind of average compared to some of the other tiers. Kind of sits in the middle of the line. Moving on to the artillery, the main guns. She is unique. She actually now has the largest caliber guns compared to any of the other tier 10 cruisers. She has 3 triple 240 millimeters compared to, say, the Mossfa, which has 220. So it has much larger caliber shells than the Mossfa. But one major difference is the Mossfa has better velocity on its shells, 985 meters per second. AP damage is a little bit lower, but that's to be expected on a little bit smaller caliber shells. The Henri IV has 845, so there's more of a slower velocity. You don't have that rail gun that you see with the Mossfa. Now, reload time is 10.8 seconds. Turn time on the guns is 32.8 seconds, which is not the worst. Definitely not the best either. So do keep in mind that it does take a little bit of time for those guns to turn. Dispersion is 153 meters at a 19.1 kilometer range. Max HE shell damage is 3,400, and chance of fire is 25%. Now, do keep in mind, I do have Demolition Expert, as well as the flags designed to increase your fire chance on your shells with it. So without it, it is going to be a little bit lower, probably around 22-23%. Very similar to the Zhao. The Zhao, I believe, actually, let's take a look at the Zhao. Has a 23% fire chance, and I don't think I have all the flags on the Zhao that will buff it, or I may. Actually, it's been some time since I've looked at it. Max HP damage is 6,200 points of damage. Once again, bigger caliber shells, more damage. Very nice. I like it. But obviously the shell velocity is a little bit slower, and the range is decent, all considering. Then you do have secondaries. You have 6 dual 127 millimeters. They fire every 4 seconds. They will do around 1,800 points of damage with an 11.5% fire chance and a 6.3 kilometer range. Yeah, not something you'll be seeing all too often, but they are there at least to assist you. Torpedoes, I really should not be really mentioning this. This is the exact same torpedoes that you have been seeing since tier 5, just with the variance in some of the ships with only 2. She does have 3. She does have 2 torpedo tubes, one on each side. They reload every 9 seconds. They have a max damage of 14,833 with a 9-kilometer range and 60 knot travel. So torpedoes, exact same, not really that extravagant. Now her AA guns actually are pretty decent, pretty powerful for her tier, especially if you get basics or advanced firing training. Definitely will improve the AA. Starting off, you have 8 dual 57 millimeters. They will do an average damage of 204 with a 4.5 kilometer range, and then your secondaries will assist with that. Average damage is 94 with a 5.4 kilometer range. Now, am I saying that her anti-air is godly? No, it's more a self-protective bubble that you can offer, and not so much fully assisting like the Minotaur or the Des Moines. But you have fairly decent AA. Maneuverability, she is, let's actually click on that, the fastest cruiser in the game. Even without the engine boost that she can run. The Moskva has a 34 and the Zhao has 36.2. So she is the fastest even without engine boost, and with engine boost she can get well over 41 knots. So she is the fastest cruiser available. Very, very similar to how Russian DDs get around. So that's the really super nice thing. And you can actually chase down destroyers with this ship. I have done it before, and it's actually very fun because not all of them always expect a cruiser being able to run them down. Turning circle radius is 840 meters. Pretty big. And once again, she acts like she has a dual personality. With the engine boost, you're a little bit more nimble. You're a little bit faster, obviously, but you also turn a little bit quicker. But without it, you do feel the slowness of it, even though she is still fairly fast. Definitely do keep that in mind whenever you are playing her. Rudder shift time is 9.5 seconds. She's actually technically the worst. The Hindenburg is right below her at 9.2. But once again, you're going to be kind of sitting at long range. Very, very similar to how the Zhao is, shooting off at range and hoping you're not going to be focused on. Now, moving on to concealment, the Henri IV has a detectability range by sea of 12.7 kilometers. Second worst in the game compared to the Moskva at 13.8 kilometers. She is definitely not a ship designed to be sneaky. So you do be well aware that you should not be the one pushing into caps, because more than likely you will be outspotted by any of the other cruisers, and obviously any of the destroyers. Detectability range by air is 8.2 kilometers. Now there is actually a new thing, the assured acquisition of 2 kilometers. This is actually brand new. This actually kind of threw me off. This basically is saying that you will detect a ship even in smoke or behind islands at 2 kilometers. Now this can actually be changed depending on what upgrade that you run, and if you go with the target acquisition system mod 1, this will increase the range, so that will also alter the assured acquisition, so do keep in mind. Now obviously tier 10, you don't have to worry about any of the upgrades. Everything is very, very similar to both the consumables you'll be running. I generally run defensive AA premium and the engine boost. Those are very, very handy to have, especially the engine boost. Very handy to have. And then as far as upgrades, very similar, exactly the same as the St. Louis. Do recommend just getting the main battery modification through. Just increases your reload time, helps you out so much. Your range is fairly nice as is. You can, I guess, if you want to go for the gunfire control system mod 2, this will increase your range by 16%, so should bring it up around 20.5 to almost 21 kilometers. But honestly, having just more DPM is more beneficial for you than additional range. Moving on, my captain. My captain, unfortunately, is not a full 19-point captain. I have 2 points available at the moment, plus additional 2 that will be coming. I will more than likely will be getting advanced fighting training just to boost the AA of the ship, just so she's a little bit more defensive whenever facing off against aircrafts. But as I have seen multiple times, she does actually a really good job shooting down lanes. So even without any additional captain skills or module or upgrades, your AA is pretty nice all the same. So this is actually going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijin.